one of the best setups you can have if you appreciate old web, how it's were done with MVC, but you really want to use new UI frameworks and your libraries which are available in React. Like, for example, Shadcn, which everybody loves, because even the latest sidebar is highly impressive. You get this, and even animations, nice, smooth, and cool. But you cannot have it without having a React. So what you do? People saying go to Next.js, but you don't want a Next.js. You want fast compiled backend, like Go, like C#, like maybe Java or your Rust, whatever. But you want to have access to UI frameworks like React. So here is the solution. Solution is combining Astro.js static output with backend language of your choice. All you need to do, most of the magic is done is this just build. You have build shell, which will first build front-end Astro app as a static output with your favorite integrations. In my case, it will be React, Tailwind, and so on. I do it with one to be more efficient, which is cool. Then I have my backend in C#, which will do all the heavy work. This one, frontend, outputs static HTML. And then backend will serve this HTML as pages. Here you go, any page. We find file with HTML and same name, or index.html if it's a folder, and serve it as HTML. And then we can also have our endpoints and all the logic built inside of backend. API endpoints like this one. This is small for test, just a showcase, but you get it. You write all your endpoints and real logic inside of your compiled language. But you don't need to struggle with having Node on your middle end, between your front end, between your back end, nothing like that. Plus, Astro allows you to pre-compile, pre-render parts of HTML, even if it's defined inside of UI framework. So here we go. Here we have a setup, which is page code single. We have some static HTML and React component. React component fetches single product information from our API and then displays it on the client. It takes API from search programs and with use query, 10-stack query, loading, blah blah blah, all the stuff, and displays them. Let's see how it works. Here's a big page. We go to the page. We go to the page. Boom. Product. You saw there is loading state before our product details appears. And if we go in the result of our build, which puts our backend output, which is a server, and it puts Astro pages and all Astro information and all the cool stuff like static assets, optimization, bundling of CSS, Tailwind, all this cool stuff you modern JavaScript frameworks give, and you have it inside of your server-side rendered and like backend compiled stuff, which is not JavaScript. And we have this, as we can see, this pre-rendered stuff, not actually this page. Here's the page we are looking for. Here's a bunch of scripts, but the more information. It is pre-rendered a lot of stuff, or static stuff, and it also pre-renders initial state of our component, which is loading. Here it is, already pre-rendered. Why it is cool? Because you can have pre-rendered your sidebar your navbar, a lot of other components can be pre-rendered and doesn't need to be flashed or rendered by React. Everything. It is great. You have multi-page, all-styled application, but with access to modern UI frameworks like React and cool libraries like Chassis. It is amazing. And if you go even further, you can have your backend to support OpenAPI, generate OpenAPI scheme from your backend, and then generate client for your frontend. And then you will have also type-safe interactions with your API endpoints without writing them yourself. Great, isn't it? And this setup very cool because you don't have problems of SPA, which is everything gets rendered by React on the client, and client-side routing, you need to go there, here, you need to recreate browser behaviors, you have problems because your script is old, is still on the page, and so on, so on, so on. You don't also have a problem of having node in between. Here's your front end. And here's your front end. It is served by node, and node then make requests to backend. Because why do you have such a great, cool backend in compiled language if it still will be limited by node? Not cool. What you have? You have partially pre-rendered frontend, and which directly served from the backend and directly interacts with your backend and still has benefits of multi-page applications. Less worrying about cookies and your authentication. Use old style sessions, and here we go. To the moon. There are some limitations which probably can be mitigated with some magic, like here. Ideally I would have ID inside of my route instead of query parameter, and it's probably possible to do, but it needs a bit of magic and a bit of setup on your backend to render it properly and get this parameter, which I may explore in the future. But that's all for today. I probably gonna make some next website with such setup. Seems very interesting and cool, and I would recommend you to try it. For those ones who don't really want to run Node